Hi, welcome back to my channel, and for today's video, I'm gonna explain to you the characteristics, the definition, the introduction of the homomorphisms of semigroups, the monoids, and the groups. And in this is actually one special topic in abstract algebra. Okay, so to start now, our main requirement to introduce the definition of homomorphism is that you have two sets required to be semigroups. So yung pinakamaliit lang, so not necessarily be a group. I mean, pinakamaliit na requirement lang. Hindi siya necessary as a group, hindi siya necessary as a monoid, just a semigroup lang. Okay, so if you have a function that maps from two semigroups, G and H, so that will be considered as homomorphism if yung function na yun nagsasatisfy sa property na ito. Ibig sabihin na paghiwalay natin siya. That holds for all elements in G. There are types of homomorphism. So first is, if yung mapping na yun is injective or one-to-one, then that homomorphism is so-called monomorphism. And if the mapping is surjective or onto, then that is epimorphism. And in the event that the mapping is bijective naman siya, sorry for this, then that is isomorphism. So ibig sabihin, kapag yung mapping mo from G to H is isomorphism, ibig sabihin your G and H are isomorphic with each other. And so we write this one. Yan. Ganyan. And so requirements for this is that you have two semigroups. For the mapping that maps from a certain semigroup to itself, then that mapping is endomorphism, provided this is also homomorphism. And if the mapping from G to itself is isomorphism, then that is automorphism. Okay, by this definition, we have the following remarks. First is, if you have two mappings, so remember your G here, your H, and your another set K are semigroups. So you have a mapping from G to H and H to K, then this GM or a composition is actually, pag ganun siya dapat eh. It's also a homomorphism. So the composition of monomorphism is monomorphism. And so epi becomes epi as well on its composition. If you have iso, that's isomorphism as well. And if you have auto, you also have automorphism as well. Number 3 is that if you have two groups, G and H, with a corresponding identity E, G, and EH, okay, so remember your mapping is from G to H. So yung identity mo is E sub G, another identity E sub H. So automatically the mapping of E sub G is the E sub H. Pero hindi siya nag-hold if yung sets mo are just monoids. So it should have to be grouped. And lastly, this one holds. So parang lalabas yung inverse na part na yun. That holds because F here is a homomorphism. Let's have this for example. The mapping from Z to ZM. So yung Z mo, imamap mo sa integer modulo M. So basically, kapag kukuha ka ng isang integer dyan, namamap siya sa equivalence class lang niya with respect to the integer modulo M. And this is a mapping that is called canonical epimorphism. And number 2 is, yung Q mo naman, a set of rational numbers mapped to the Q mod Z. So this, if you pick R, you have to map this with the equivalence classes of R. And that is actually epimorphism of additive groups. Number 3, if you have an abelian group A, so remember A here is a commutative group, then the mapping defined by A sending to A inverse is an automorphism of A. So basically, nakamap lang siya sa sarili niya. And number 4, the map given by A to A squared, that's the same mapping introduced by 3, that's also endomorphism of A. And number 5, if you have a positive integer greater than 1, and your K here as well, that is an element of the natural number, then this mapping given by this definition is monomorphism. Let me introduce another set of definition here. If you have a mapping, which is a homomorphism of groups. So remember, G and H here are groups. And if that mapping becomes a homomorphism, so your kernel of F denoted by this symbol, ker F, is the set containing this one. So basically, yung F mo, a mapping of two groups, G and H. So matatawag lang natin yung part na ito as kernel of F if lahat ng elements dito nakamap lang siya sa isang identity, H. Number two is that if you have a subgroup of G, I mean subset rather, yung A mo. So, if you take all the mapping of those elements in A here, ang lalabas, lahat ng meron si H, we call that as image of A. And F of G here is called, if nauubos natin yung entire G dyan, so that is the image of F. And we denote this symbol. And last definition is that if you have a subset of H, so let's say we have B here, if you take all the inverse of B, so ang element niya is galing sa A such that yung mga element na A na yun, if you take the mapping of that, makikita mo siya mismo sa B. And we call that as the inverse image of B. So summarize that one, ito yung itsura niya. So kung napapansin mo, this is the A here and namamap siya sa F of A. And then yung mga kernel mo, namamap siya sa identity. And so with the B, if you take that, you get the F inverse of B. So as a result, we have this claim here. So ang sabi lang dito, if you have a homomorphism of groups, which is the group G and H, defined by the mapping F. So provided that this mapping is a monomorphism, this is a biconditional statement. This will actually hold. So monomorphism if and only if the kernel of F is just the E sub G alone. And number two, magiging isomorphism siya, this biconditional statement again, if and only if magkakahanap ka ng isang homomorphism. So there exists a homomorphism, which is the inverse, pabalik siya from H to G, such that if you take the product, the result is actually identity. So let's prove that if this is actually true. So, unahin natin yung first claim. The first claim is F is monomorphism if and only if the kernel of F is the set containing E sub G alone. So let's do the draft na lang sa proof. So F is mono. So forward to. And then let's assume that A is an element of kernel of F. So anong implication? So F of A, that is E sub H. Tama? Kasi element siya ni kernel yung A. But remember, by the remark of the first definition, na ang A sub H, nakamap siya sa F of E sub G. And so, implication is that yung kernel mo pala ng F, I'm sorry, this imply mo na that E is equal to E sub G, no? So therefore, the kernel of F mo lang pala is the set containing A sub G. That's it. So let's go to the backward direction. So suppose ang kernel of F mo is the set containing E sub G. Okay. And let's assume that F of A is equal to F of B. Okay, let's assume that way. Yung E sub H mo, that's the same as if I multiply F of A inverse. Pero alam kasi natin that F of A is just F of B. So instead of using F of A inverse, I'll use F of B inverse. So I have F of B inverse. Yan. Pero again, we assume in the first place that your F here is a homomorphism. So ibig sabihin, pwede kong ipapasok yung inverse sa loob. And so again, pwedeng pumasok ulit. So I have F of B inverse. And by virtue of the definition of your homomorphism, pwede silang pagsamahin. Yan. So, ibig sabihin, yung AB inverse na yan, eto, nakamap pala siya sa A sub H. So, dahil nakamap siya sa A sub H, the implication is, ang AB inverse pala is an element of the kernel of F. Kasi nakamap siya sa identity eh. Which is the E sub G. Yung pinakita natin kanina. Because the fact that your this is an isomorphism, so monomorphism siya din. Okay? And so, ibig sabihin, your AB inverse is just E sub G, which implies that if I multiply both sides by B, magkakaroon ta ng A equals B. So, F is 1-to-1 or monomorphism. Okay, let's prove statement 2. Yung statement 2 is iso siya if and only if nag-exist yung F inverse. Okay. Pero F is iso, no? Dahil iso siya, ibig sabihin ay bijective siya. The mapping is bijective. Pero tinuro na sa atin before in pre-calculus class na kapag ang F is bijective, ibig sabihin nagkakaroon tayo na there exists a map. And this map is the inverse which maps the sets H to G. Such that ang map na yon na inverse, i-multiply mo, ang lalabas is this one. This. Ang problema na lang natin, hindi tayo sure kung ang F inverse ba dito sa case na ito is homomorphism. So let's prove that way. Remember, since yung F inverse mo is actually 1H, ang ibig sabihin nun, F inverse of AB, ganyan, I can write that as 1H of AB. Yan. Which is just the same as AB. Okay. And since yung F mo is homo, and F inverse of A mo, F inverse of B mo are actually element of G. Bakit? Kasi ang sinasabi natin, 'di ba? G is a group. So therefore, yung mga inverse ng mga element na yon nandun din sa G. Okay. That holds for all A, B, and G. So, anong ibig sabihin nito? F inverse of A, yan. F inverse of B. Ibig sabihin yan, I can have F inverse of A, F inverse of B. So, bali, i-distribute ko yung F. Pwede ko siyang ma-distribute kasi ina-assume natin na yung F mo is homomorphism. So, I have F inverse of A, F inverse of B. And so, alam natin this is 1H of A. This is 1H of B. So, therefore, this is just AB. Okay. So, anong ibig sabihin? Thus, yung F of F inverse of AB, yan. Since we can write that as F of F inverse of A, F inverse of B, mag-imply yan na ang F inverse of AB is the same as F inverse of A, F inverse of B. And so, since F is 1-to-1. So, dahil na-write natin siya in that way, ibig sabihin the F inverse is homomorphism. Okay. So, na-prove natin yung forward. Now, for the case of backward, kung titingnan natin siya, if there exists a F inverse such that this one and this one holds, parang ang dali na lang kasi ibig sabihin yung F inverse mo pala is a two-sided inverse. And that is also an identity. And the fact that F here is homo and bijective, ibig sabihin yung F mo din is isomorphism. That's all. Okay, that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. So if you have any questions or clarification, please let me know so that we can discuss on that. If you have any requests for topics, let me know as well. So thank you so much, guys, and have a great day.